Hello, 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 my friends. I hope you're having a beautiful day today. Today we are continuing with week 3, the Eucharist and you, day 19. Let's dive right in. Day 19, first, last, and only. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Philippians 4:13. My boys love baseball, and their passion for the game is contagious. So I've become fascinated with the game and all the life lessons it teaches. We recently saw a great player in his last game, and I wondered what it was like for him to know he was walking out onto the field the last time. He had been doing this since he was a child. He loved it, but now it was coming to an end. And what would he give to play one more game, one more series, one more season? But he can't. Sooner or later, all baseball players are told they can't play anymore. Some are told when they are children, others in high school, some in college or the minor leagues, and some after a rich and full professional career. The day can be pushed off with talent and effort, but eventually it will still come to an end. Think about your favorite sport and your favorite player in the history of that sport. What do you think it was like for them to play their last game? What sort of emotion do you think filled them? And what sort of longing do they still carry for the game? These are powerful experiences and emotions, and still it is just a game. There are things that are much, much more important. Avila is a small city in the rolling hill country, 1 hour northwest of Madrid in Spain. This is the birthplace of Saint Therese of Avila, one of the greatest Catholic mystics and writers of all time. She wrote extensively on many topics and often reflected on her love and appreciation for the Eucharist. Jesus realizes that we are weak and knows that the laborers must be nourished with such food. Do you think this heavenly food fails to provide sustenance even for their bodies? That it is not a great medicine even for bodily ills? I know that it is. The wonders this most sacred bread effects in those who worthily receive it are well known. There is a church in Avila built on the site of Teresa's childhood home. It is in the sacristy where the priests prepare for Mass. There is a large wooden crucifix on the wall. The crucifix is surrounded by these words which have been painted on the wall. Priests of Jesus Christ, celebrate this holy Mass as if it were your first Mass, your last Mass, your only Mass. Now, let me ask you a question. If you could only go to Mass once in your entire life, if you could only receive the Eucharist once, how satisfied or dissatisfied would you be with how you participated in Mass last Sunday? So, this is my challenge for you today. From now on, each time you go to Mass, participate in it as if it were your first Mass, your last Mass, your only Mass. Imagine you could only participate in Mass one more time before meeting God for the final judgment. How would you prepare? What would you wear? What intentions would you bring to the Mass? Who would you pray for, knowing you wouldn't see them again in this entire lifetime? I don't know when your last Mass will be, but I do know the best way to prepare yourself for that day is to approach each Mass you are blessed to attend as if it were your first, last, and only. Trust, surrender, believe, receive. Lesson. Every time you go to Mass, participate as if it were your first communion, your last communion, your only communion. Virtue of the day. Preparedness. The virtue of preparedness is a state of readiness, especially for death, judgment, and heaven. Spiritual communion. Jesus, I believe that you are truly present in the most holy sacrament of the Eucharist. Every day I long for more of you. I love you above all things, and I desire to receive you into my soul. Since I cannot receive you sacramentally at this moment, I invite you to come and dwell in my heart. May this spiritual communion increase my desire for the Eucharist. You are the healer of my soul. Take the blindness from my eyes, the deafness from my ears, the darkness from my mind, and the hardness from my heart. Fill me with the grace, wisdom, and courage to do your will in all things. My Lord and my God, draw me close to you, nearer than ever before. Amen. My friends, this concludes day 19 of the 33 Days to Eucharistic Glory retreat we are doing that I'm hosting based on Matthew Kelly's book by that title. I hope you're enjoying it as much as I am. I invite you to drop into the comments one thing that you're taking home with you from this retreat today, something you plan on applying to your own life this Lent and going forward. Real quickly for myself, I am taking home with me that special thing as the first, last, and only. I love how he said, priests of Jesus Christ, celebrate this holy Mass as if it were your first Mass, your last Mass, and your only Mass. And then he said, if it was yours, would you be satisfied with how you participated last Sunday? I can tell you right now, I would hope so, because I actually have had many illnesses, you guys know, over the years, and I've considered that my first, last, and only. Like, what if this is my last year? What if this is my last, time with the Lord? And it is for that reason that I have begun becoming more prepared, right, for Sunday Mass, preparing my heart, receiving the Eucharist properly disposed with a confessed heart, childlike heart, able to receive the ocean of mercies we talked about in the last day's retreat. And I hope that you guys will take that with yourself. It's just that the more prepared you are to invite Jesus to dwell in you, the more swept clean, as it were, the living room of your soul is, the greater flood of graces you're going to receive to live your life well. That's the message I'm taking home for myself today. I hope you're taking home something as valuable. With that, I hope you'll join me tomorrow on our live sometime between 8 a.m. and 2 p.m., most likely between 11:45 and noon. But I wanted to give myself a wider gap so I can fit it in earlier or later in the morning if that was what's needed, without feeling like, I'm late. The stress of that is not great for my health. So with that, I hope, again, you'll still join us on Instagram at Authentic Freedom Mentor for the live retreats through Palm Sunday 2025, or here on YouTube for the pre-recorded retreats. Take care and God bless again. Be well. I wish you a blessed and prosperous day, and that you would be well, body and soul.